Alright. Alright, welcome to Drunk Doctor Who, episode 10.
Episode 10.
Episode 10.
After a long hiatus.
A month.
Slightly.
Yeah, episode 10, we hit double digits. This
Digits, yeah.
Yeah, this was the Dalek Invasion of Earth.
Yes.
Where they invade London and England, and well, the whole Earth, but you only see London and England.
A momentous serial, 6 episodes long.
Yep, 6 episodes.
So much happens.
Yeah. And it goes from November 21st, 1964 to December 26th, 1964, and has Ian, Susan, and Barbara, and of course the antagonists are the Daleks. It's the Daleks Invasion of Earth.
We got the Daleks and the
Robomen. Well,
Robomen.
Okay, the Robomen.
We also have this.
What are you doing?
The Slither. Exclusive to episode 4.
5. Okay.
4 and 5 is a Slither.
Okay.
So
But the Daleks are the main bad guy. They create the Robomen out of humans.
and then where did the Slither come from?
They create the Robomen out of humans, which are essentially a precursor to Cybermen, which we will get to. Right, we'll get to them later in the first Doctor.
The first Doctor, really? Oh.
Yes, in the first Doctor.
Oh, that's exciting. See, most of the time you hint at something, it's like hundreds of episodes in the future.
Well,
So I get excited when you hint at something that's coming up soon.
I can tell you exactly what happened.
Because you're like, that's going to happen. I'm like, oh yeah, when's that going to happen? And you're like,
4 years from now.
400 episodes from now. I'm like, oh man.
Alright, the Cybermen first show up in the 10th planet. 10th planet, which is the first Doctor's final serial, and it's a 29th serial, so it's only 19 serials away.
13 years from now.
No, not 13 years. We're not
12
that
years
far out. No.
Well,
13 weeks.
This is 1957, and this is 1964.
Wait. What is about 1957?
Is that not what it said?
No, it's not. Okay. Doctor Who started in 1963. We're now in 1964.
What is this thing I read?
Okay. The 10th planet is in
1967.
67.
3 years from now.
Well,
During
okay.
your time. Yeah.
No. 3 years of their time.
Their time, not our
Season 4, whereas we're season 2, so 2 years their time. Because literally, I mean, this ends 64. This ends 64. 2 years their time, probably 13, 14, 15, 16. 4 months our time. 4 months. Well, Christmas and Thanksgiving may interrupt that a bit.
Speaking of holidays, let's talk about our hiatus. I got a haircut. You've gotten incredibly sexy. You were on vacation.
Okay, yeah.
You want to talk
I
about
got
your
a
vacation?
tan. Yeah. Well, I went to Egypt. I took my wife. Yes, I got that in Egypt. And where did I get that?
In Egypt.
I got that in Aswan. Well, specifically Aswan, Egypt.
Egypt.
Well, okay. The whole of Egypt goes down the Nile, and you've got Cairo and Alexandria and Luxor and Memphis and Aswan. And the very bottom you have Abu Simbel, which is on Lake Nasser. A lake that's so long it goes into the next country, Sudan. Artificial lake. They created it by putting a big dam in Aswan. Anyway, but went to Egypt, had a great time.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And
did you love Egypt because we're both into Magic the Gathering, and 2 years ago they had the Amonkhet expansion, which is very heavily inspired by Egyptian mythology. That's cool.
Yeah, Amonkhet, the block, yeah.
Yeah, so and you got to see all those pyramids and stuff.
Devastation.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I got to see the pyramids. I didn't go there because of that.
I know, but like
it's always been on my bucket list, you know.
It's so cool.
And when my wife and I got together, we each made a bucket list of 10 places we wanted to go before we died.
Yes.
And we have done 8 of hers, and there's only 2 left. And we have now done 4 of mine, and so there's 6 left.
6 and 2.
Yeah, 2 for her. She goes, why are we clearing mine before yours? I'm like, so you can die first. You know? She doesn't like that, but mostly it's because mine were more international and hers were more
local,
national. Yeah.
Within the States.
Right, within the States, and we could hit the ones in the States first because we could afford that better. But the only place on both our lists was Alaska, and we hit that last year.
Oh,
That was the only place that hit both our lists.
Did you go to Alaska or did you do like the cruise? Like around?
Yeah, we did the cruise to Alaska.
Oh, the cruise in Alaska.
Yeah.
My aunt went on that. She's
flew to Seattle, hit all the places in Alaska. It was awesome. And
beautiful.
I think Canada. First time I've been in Canada proper. I technically been to Canada in 1999 because I visited the Canadian embassy in China.
Oh, that's
well, yeah, it's technically, but not really, right. Technically, but anyway, so that's funny. But I finally got to Canada. Yeah, I had to go halfway around the world to visit my neighbors. You know, but anyway, Doctor Who, back to Doctor Who. Anyway,
I love those. Yeah. Back to Doctor Who.
This is like the last time. You're more drunk than I am. What's
no,
with that?
I'm not. Well, what are we drinking today?
I'm drinking wine, and you're drinking what the heck is this?
Red's Apple Ale.
Red Apple Ale.
You would think 5% alcohol, it would be really hard to get drunk on.
You're
5%.
You're a lightweight.
But I've had like 8 of these.
Well, yeah.
And also I'm just the worst lightweight. You'd think someone as chubby as I am would.
No. I have a friend named Chris. He drank 2 of those. He'd be drunk. And he's like 30-something. And
that's hilarious.
He's about your weight. Seriously. He's about my height, which is a little shorter, but he's a little chubbier than I am, so he's about your weight.
I had a psychology or a humanities class, and they talked about, someone's tolerance in alcohol and how some people, they get very, very drunk and how their brain processes the alcohol in their bloodstream. That's like they can hardly even notice that they have that much alcohol in the system. And then other people, they get super drunk and they can really tell. I feel like I'm one of those people that get really drunk.
Right, and that's what Chris does. I'm Cajun, so we have a preponderance towards alcohol and an immunity to alcohol, like the Irish. You know, my God invented alcohol, right?
Why did he do that?
So the Irish wouldn't take over the world. Seriously.
Did a good job.
Yeah, he did. It was great. But seriously, this is Dalek's Invasion of Earth. Yay. All of it exists, thank the Lord. Really good cereal.
Yeah, no recreations. It's beautiful.
Yeah, beautiful. It's the second appearance of the Daleks. They knew they had a winner, so they bring them back about every season, and this is the second season.
Yeah, they did. Bring them back with authorities.
Authority, yeah. This is the first time a companion departs.
Yes. Huge impact to the. We'll talk about that in episode 6.
Well, yeah. We talk about the whole thing all day, but Susan departs.
Leaves us.
Yes, she falls in love with a human in the year 2168. Now, she's a Time Lord, supposedly. It's heavily implied, although not ever implicitly stated, that she is the genetic granddaughter of the Doctor. So, in theory, Yeah. So, there's speculation, but in theory, she is a Time Lord. But she falls in love.
Powers.
Right, but she falls in love with a human. Larry, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be awkward when he dies and she reincarnates. And
Regenerates.
And then the Doctor promises to come back and visit her.
Well, he says he may someday, but he has not as of yet. But the funny part is it's 2168. In theory, she'd still be alive in 2300, 2400, 2500 if she regenerates. But yeah, so we lose Susan. It's the first one. But the speech he gives at the end of the serial is fantastic. It is probably it's probably Hartnell's finest moment as the Doctor. Seriously, it's just beautiful, absolutely beautiful, and is considered by many one of the high points of the show. And it comes in the very second season. It's absolutely fantastic. When he tells her to go, and all her beliefs, that he may be confident in his and to live her life.
Continue in your beliefs so I can.
Yeah, so you can
mine. And Larry's like, he knows you'll never leave him, so
exactly,
he had to.
Yeah. And it's done more elegant than we did it, trust me. But yeah, Ian, Susan, and Barbara. And Ian is very much the hero of this particular serial.
Oh, he's my favorite. He's just such a man's man.
He is. Well, the Doctor's
Sure.
old and frail. It's the incarnation of the Doctor, so they needed a man to do the work, and Ian is that guy.
And boy, was the Doctor sassy in this.
He was.
He was so
Doctor this
Oh man, he's just insulting people. He's boasting of his intelligence. It's great.
He's insulting the was it the Daleks? Like, who are you to decide that I should die?
Yeah, the former prisoner when he's doing the Daleks. He's trying to escape, but really it's just a thing the Daleks planted when they're in prison, and he's figuring out this mechanism to unlock the door, and he's talking to other prisoner. He's like,
exactly. They're like
he's like, you're intelligent. And he's like, yeah, it's not a very common thing anymore.
Yeah, we got to turn him into a cyber, or not a Robo-Man.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
But anyway, so the whole theory behind the serial is the year is 2168, or it was the last time they made calendars, so they found a calendar of 2168.
Yeah, so at least that's
2170 or 2180
2100,
or something.
2200s.
Yeah, 2190, whatever. But they land in London in the late 22nd century.
22nd century.
Yeah, 22nd century. And the Daleks have taken over the Earth, and they've enslaved a bunch of the humans as Robo-Men, with a whole thing that looks like what the Cybermen will later. Hey, the Cybermen? The original Cybermen wear like socks on their head. Socks, and they're referred to as the Mondas Cybermen, I think. Sorry, we're both fairly drunk. But you're more drunk than I, which is weird. But they're the Mondas Cybermen. Later on, the Cybermen are less socky and more metallic, which is more of the Earth Cybermen or whatever. But during the 12th Doctor, the Mondas Cybermen, the socks, make a return because the 12th Doctor, he's not even on that poster. This is pre-12th Doctor.
1 through 11.
Yeah, it's 1 through 11. The 12th Doctor particularly loved the Mondas Cybermen. But anyway, so it's a precursor to them. But anyway, so the Daleks enslave and kill humans and everything because they're trying to dig down to the molten core of the Earth.
They're trying to replace the Earth's core.
Right.
They're blowing it up and they're replacing it with a different core that lets
driving system. Yeah.
That lets them navigate the planet.
I don't know if it works on magnetics.
They're trying to turn the Earth's core into a.
Right. But this comes into play later. Much later, when they take the Earth and they steal it, and they move it into a constellation of other planets during Donna's. Not seasons, not the TV movie, but the series. In series 4, where you've got Donna as the sidekick, as the companion, they take the Earth and they steal it in such a fashion by moving it, and then the TARDIS moves it back. And
that's cool.
Right. And then the TARDIS kind of tractor beams it back, but it kind of goes back to this where they can steer the planet anywhere.
So the TARDIS as a tractor beam that can move the Earth.
Right, but it kind of goes back to the Daleks trying to make it steerable anywhere in the universe. Right. It's all big crazy sci-fi insanity,
Apparently,
Okay, what questions do you have?
So episode 1, it's really cool because they have a departure from, specifically during the first episode of the serial, they have a departure of the sets and they have, actual filming locations, which lets
outside.
them have really large tracking shots.
And this serial had a big ass budget because they wanted to do the Daleks proper. And they wanted to do London proper, and they just went all out.
So these London, outside
landscape
shoots and big tracking shots and
Trafalgar Square.
Yeah.
You know what's in Trafalgar Square?
And then the bridge.
Yeah. But the Thames. But you know who's in Trafalgar Square?
The statue.
Well, there's a bunch of statues. One is of Lord Admiral Nelson, but another one. They've got a statue of George Washington in Trafalgar Square. because he was a great man, even though he rebelled
Yeah.
to make America against the British.
Well,
they have a
that's good.
statue of him in Trafalgar Square. It's
Good
just,
for them. They're awesome.
Yeah,
You know, they're not
agreed.
a sore loser.
that's why I'm an
They're just-
Anglophile.
Yeah.
I love the English.
They're
fantastic.
great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
They,
Look at them.
they just stiff upper lip. They carry on and all
Yeah,
the
they
thoughts.
do.
It's fantastic.
Hey, way to go, Englishmen,
Yeah.
British, all of Europe,
British. Well, hey,
most of Europe.
I explained to you the difference, right?
The difference of what?
Right. England is
United
just
Kingdoms.
England. Right.
They left someone left the European Union and they.
That's the United Kingdom. We're in the
Yeah.
process of leaving the European Union. But like getting divorced, it's a bit messy. But England is England. Britain is England and Wales.
So they have euros and they're departing from the currency-wise. They're departing
No. The
for
UK,
pounds.
the UK had an exception to keep the pound.
Ah, that's good.
That was the only reason they
Yeah,
joined.
because that's really why they joined in the first place. Because after World War II, their economy was in shambles because of, or World War One rather, their economy was in shambles.
Two especially, but
Yeah.
none
That's why
of
they
those
really
awards was
united
particularly
to,
good to England.
Proliferate their economy.
Right, but
So it's
okay.
good that they're keeping the euros. Sorry.
No, they're keeping the British pound.
The
which
pound.
they've always kept. Pound sterling, yeah.
Pound sterling.
But so anyway, so you've got England,
Mhm.
and then Britain is England and Wales, and then the United Kingdom. Oh no. Great Britain is Britain, which is England, Wales, and Scotland,
Mhm.
and the United Kingdom was England, Wales, Scotland, and Ireland. Now the United Kingdom is England, Wales, Scotland, and North Ireland because South Ireland seceded.
Yeah.
And Scotland
That's
has
exciting.
tried, but they didn't. But now the UK, like you said, is leaving the European Union.
See, on paper I'm great at geography, but in practice I'm so bad.
I've got to go right up there.
Yeah.
Look.
Yeah.
But it's from the 1960s. It
Oh,
says
it's-
East and West Germany and the USSR. It was my uncle's, and he was
That's
Down
awesome.
syndrome. He was
Oh.
mentally retarded, is what we used to call it.
Yeah.
My grandparents called it Mongoloid, which was
Mongoloid.
because he looked like the Mongols. But that term went way out of use.
Oh, so
And even mentally retarded is now way
yeah,
out of
that's
use. Although that's
PC.
PC, I hate PC. But that's what I grew up with.
Mhm.
And now it's Down syndrome.
Yeah.
Um,
I love
but-
stand-up comics because there are certain people who are just totally over the PC thing, and they just say it how it is. And
Exactly.
There's this great bit that someone does about the word retarded and how that's offensive. No, it's not offensive based on.
I just hate euphemisms. I can't stand euphemisms. Somebody asked me, because my birthday, all right, went to Egypt and missed 2 weeks of this. And then had my birthday last Wednesday, and I turned 50. I'm now 50 years old. And somebody asked me, well, how young are you? And I said, I hate euphemisms. I am 50 years old.
50 years young.
No, 50 years old. I hate euphemisms. It's a way to try and soften reality.
Soften the.
Forget reality.
Yeah.
I mean, forget softening it. I want reality.
Have enough respect to just say it as it is.
Right. If I'm
Just
going to
straight up.
die, tell me I'm going to die. Don't soften it. If I'm old, tell me I'm old. Don't soften it.
How did you're old?
I am. Thank you. Well, 50 years. No. No, I'm middle-aged.
Middle age.
Old just 61.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm old too.
No. Okay. Your youth is 0 to 30. That's your springtime. That's when you play, and that's when everything's getting bright.
I'm playing.
Yes, you are. Sure. All right. Middle age, your summer is 31 to 60.
You're playing in your summer.
Well, there you go. Well, no. Your summer is when you do most of the work, most of the planting.
You work
and
towards
sowing. Right. That's your work. 30 to 60. 61 to 90 is your old age. That's the fall. That's when you harvest and you reap everything that you sowed. And 91 to 120, because God said, man's days will be 120 years. 91 to 1, and that's about how long anybody could ever live. 91 to 120 is your winter. I mean, that's when things are cold and you're just in the lights dying, for you. But yeah, so I'll be old in another 11 years, but right now I'm getting towards the latter part of middle age. But it's fine. I don't care if you want to call me old.
No, you're middle age.
I'm middle age, but and my wife is turning 49 on Sunday later this week.
She's middle aged.
Yeah, we're both middle-aged. We'll be old in another decade, but it's fine.
Beautiful.
It is what it is, you know?
And what it is beautiful.
Thank you. We love each other to death, but at least that's the plan. Alright. Wait, what Doctor Who question? We never stay on topic. What Doctor Who questions do you have? Yeah.
So we're talking about the sets and how they just, put so much of their budget into this, Hail Mary throwing, money at the Daleks because that's their little flagship antagonist. Tracking shots is great. They also, they leapt into this sci-fi horror theme. They cut the audio on some of these shots during the first episode, and they put this really eerie organ soundtrack in it. It's awesome. It really sets the tone.
Well, yeah, because
the entire serial. It's eerie. It's creepy. It's almost a horror sci-fi. Population's been cold, and you have this invading alien force.
Right, and that was used in 28 Days Later. Have you seen that?
No, but I've heard about it.
You haven't seen anything. All right. Seriously, I showed you the Blues Brothers. I remember showing you the Blues Brothers.
After
our last one of these episodes.
No, definitely not. I think we didn't watch that.
Yes. Oh my gosh, you were so drunk. Okay, remember there was Jodie Foster. She was in it. And
we never watched that.
John Candy.
Never watched.
Alright, I swear. We talked about it in the last episode because I rewatched it earlier today. Yeah. I swear you watched it. And anyway, what else?
Let's see here. Oh yeah, we were talking about the genesis of the Daleks. Earlier in this season, the last season, we had our first appearance of the Daleks, and the Doctor references that as 1,000 years or 1,000,000 years in the future, where the Daleks were very crippled and they could only maneuver on magnetic metal surfaces, and yeah, but that's how they really got away. Is they threw the tarps over and they couldn't cut the connection, and they overthrew the Daleks. But that was way in the future on the planet. Hold on.
Wait. It's way in the future. In the regular
Skaro,
Skaro, right? It's way in the future on the regular timeline. But it's in the past on both the Doctor's timeline and the Daleks' timeline. Because the Daleks learn to travel in time as well as space. So when the Doctor encountered the Daleks in the Daleks serial, the second serial of Doctor Who.
That's this one.
No, this is the Dalek Invasion of Earth. This is
the second serial.
Right, the second serial.
Yeah.
Which we did eight episodes ago.
That was the second serial?
That was it. The first one was the cavemen, and the second one was the Daleks.
Was it really Skaro? Okay.
Right, it was on Skaro.
And that's what launched the success of the
Right, that's what made Doctor Who big, was everybody loved the Daleks. That's why they bring them back constantly. I mean, constantly.
Flagship antagonists.
Exactly.
Every season.
But anyway, so that's in the past on the Daleks' timeline, it's in the past on the Doctor's timeline, but it's in the future on regular linear time.
That's so confusing.
Okay.
Can we draw a chart?
What?
So what's on how to...
Wait. It's just in the future for both of them.
Is this what the camera can see?
That's about the line of what the camera can see.
So we have a regular timeline, and then we have a diversion, was the Daleks' timeline.
Wait, no, it's not the Daleks, it's not a diversion, okay, the Daleks, the original serial of the Daleks is in the future on linear time.
Linear. Here's the invasion.
Yeah, I don't know if the camera can quite see that the way I have it placed. Okay, the Doctor,
Oh, you missed the tape.
No, hey, don't mess with that, that's good, that is so good.
Okay, kind of.
Okay.
Right.
Here it is. Okay, we are intoxicated.
Nope, you are.
Of drunk Doctor Who.
Yes.
Okay,
but so in the future of the regular linear time scale, we have the.
Is this an alternate timeline? It's the same timeline.
The same timeline.
It's just Skaro, the Daleks.
Skaro's in the future here, so the invasion would be back here.
Yes, because the Daleks travel back in time.
And then here's Skaro up here.
Which they prove they can do in the chase, which is something we'll come up to soon. And the Doctor meets them back here in
So
time.
we only have the one timeline. There's no diversion
What?
of timelines.
Correct.
It's just that
Well,
the Doctor
okay.
and the Daleks, they travel through the timeline.
Okay, to be fair, at the moment, everything changes constantly. It's science fiction, it's Doctor Who. Nothing stays the same. Seriously, nothing. Everything changes constantly.
What happened with these?
No, you're supposed to be here. What are you doing back there?
I'm here.
Okay, you should be here.
I'm just
No.
checking.
Right. No, the tape was for the original placement, but remember I moved the camera forward because people wanted to see us
We
more.
need to move the tape.
Maybe, I don't know. I just reset the camera.
You want to? Okay.
It'll be at different depths based on whim, I guess.
What if we had two different camera angles and we cut in between back and forth close-ups and then?
Okay, it was an expensive camera. It's a 4K Sony.
It is beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful.
But it was,
My brother also has a camera we could do.
No, then you have to do editing. I don't want to do editing. The whole
You
point
don't
of this.
have to.
No, the whole point of this is to not do editing.
No editing.
No script, no editing, no intro, no outro.
In a
We
world,
talk, we film, we upload. That's it.
In a world of politics where everyone wants to censors what they say to save face,
You screw that.
Yeah,
no
forget
censoring.
no editing.
We are no editing. We are good. We are us. That's all it takes.
We are us.
We are us. Okay. Wow, we got
Better
off topic. How do you keep getting us off? Okay, what's your next question?
Really, my questions. We're talking about the timeline and the genesis of the system.
No, Genesis of the Daleks happens during the Fourth Doctor. The Fourth Doctor.
Yeah, no.
It's one of the greatest serials ever, and it's during the first season of the Fourth Doctor. But he goes back to the one with the scarf right there. Yes, him.
Your favorite.
Tom Baker,
Tom
my
Baker,
favorite,
your
everyone everyone's favorite who has any common sense. All right. Oh,
I'm pretty
taste.
partial
I should
to
say
this.
taste.
To this guy.
Well,
He's the only one I've ever seen. Of the ones I've seen, he's my favorite.
you've only seen him.
But he's pretty great.
He is. The first Doctor is a good Doctor, but my favorites are number 4, number 2, number 10 in that order. So Tom Baker, Patrick Troughton, yep, and no, Tennant. Yeah, him in that order.
He's number 10.
Okay, yeah.
So,
Yeah, I don't think Troughton is on screen, but
is he 11?
No, 11 is Matt Smith.
What do you mean on screen?
I don't think. Okay, that poster's about cut in half. On camera, we're boxed for about half of that poster, so he doesn't show up on the camera.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
The camera cuts right about through Eccleston. Guy in the tape. Wait, what are you?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, I know. I set it up earlier.
It's just here.
Right about through Eccleston. Okay. Oh my gosh.
I'm curious. I never get to peek behind the camera.
What the hell were we talking about?
Our episode 2. Moving on. So we were talking about. I have a question. Yeah, I wrote down a question about how the Daleks were able to move without the magnetic metal floorings, but it
answered it with a little
within
radio
the
thing
episode. Yeah, they had the packs on the back, and how that was their invasion force, and how they adapted to the environment to invade Earth.
Exactly.
They didn't need to move on metal surfaces anymore. And then we also talked about Skaro and the event 1,000 or 1,000,000 years in the future, and we talked about the timeline. We went on that whole tyrant. So.
I remember Genesis of the Daleks, which we will come to, is a serial of Doctor Who during the 11th season, during the 4th Doctor. It's just like 3rd or 4th or 5th serial, and it's absolutely fantastic.
You're like an encyclopedia of Doctor Who.
I love Doctor Who. It's during his era, but it's way earlier in the Daleks' timeline. Literally during the Genesis, exactly like I said, the Daleks. Okay. Alright, sorry, continue.
So, moving on to episode 3, we have the Day of Reckoning. I had this great question about the Daleks and how they ever do anything. You said, I was questioning, they just sort of hover around and they have these grabbers and how they ever build their spaceships, because they went to Earth and they invaded the planet and they had to enslave the humans to do all the work for them, and then you said something about the Daleks and they built machines to do all the work for them. How does that all work?
The Daleks build machines.
How do they get anything done?
Right. All they have is a ray gun and a suction cup, yeah. No, but the suction cup also seems to act as a
toilet plunger.
Well, it looks like a toilet plunger. No, but it also seems to act as a kind of a sonar thing where it detects things. That's why they have it extended so far out a lot during this particular serial.
Oh, okay, so it's sort of like a Bugs in Tonight kind of thing.
Kind of, yeah. But not only that, but the Daleks use machinery a lot because they have to. And at other times, instead of like a gun, a ray gun, they'll have flamethrowers or whatever else they need. Right.
I haven't seen those yet. All I've seen is the ray gun.
That'll come in the Daleks Master Plan, which is a 12-part serial.
Oh.
Like,
hey, that's coming up.
Oh my gosh, we're getting so wasted. It's a 12-part serial. In a little bit later this season, actually.
Really? Oh, that's so soon.
Yeah. But
how many serials away is that?
I think it's later this season. Hold on.
So while you look that up, speaking of the Daleks and how they build machines to do everything, we also were talking about
next season, season 3.
Next season,
season 3. Most of it is missing.
Oh no, so recreations and stuff.
Right.
Are those animated or like promotional
stills? Stills.
Yeah.
Of the 12 episodes, 3 exist. 9 are missing, and 11 of them are serious.
There are a whole bunch of reconstructions back to back there too.
Well, yeah, Doctor Who was emaciated by the BBC due to their deletion.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, season 3 is mostly missing.
All of season 3 is going to be mostly still.
Mostly missing. The Ark exists, and the Gunfighters exist, and the War Machines exist.
So
the Savages.
The first half, like most of them, and the second half is like every other serial.
Essentially, yeah. But the Dalek Master Plan, and they've got flamethrowers and stuff. But yeah, agreed. But anyway, so supposedly they can use the gun slot for different manipulation things, and they can create machines or enslave people, and those like the thralls on the original. Skara, they can enslave them. So they can enslave people to do their work for them, or like the original
the radio head.
Right, the Rubbermen. And the Khaleds, which you'll find out in Genesis of the Daleks, are the race that eventually became the Daleks, even though they were humanoid.
Right, because the first encounter we had it showed them taking the Dalek out of the machinery, and it's like this little black.
Well, yeah, it's the
Baltimore looking.
It's one theory that the Khaleds would evolve into, and so they need the Dalek casing.
Yeah, because they're so with the radiation, they're so misshapen, and they evolved into this like thing where they think they're normal, and then they think normal people are ugly because they're so bastardized.
Right, and the Slither must have been one of those genetic abnormalities.
From the Daleks? So the Daleks brought the Slither,
like Slytherin from Harry Potter.
Into the Earth.
Yes.
Because I had a question about that. Where did the Slither come from?
Right. Okay. Believe it or not, it's never actually said where it comes from. But logically, it would come from being one of the genetic mutations of the Daleks from early times, like the Genesis of the Daleks, because it looked like one of those.
It's so weird because it's just this alien life form that feeds on humans, and the Daleks don't acknowledge it. They just sort of let it roam free and feed on us.
Except the Supreme Dalek does. It's kind
does he acknowledge it?
Well, no. Remember, they state he's kind of a pet to the Supreme Dalek.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So speaking of the Supreme Dalek,
the Black Dalek.
The Black Dalek. Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought was weird, because the subtitles was weird, and the subtitles sort of deviated from the actual audio. And then the audio, they refer to him as the Black Dalek, but the subtitles it says the Supreme Dalek.
the subtitle said Supreme Dalek,
Mm-hmm.
but occasionally he was referred to as the Black Dalek
Yeah.
amongst
But
either the Daleks or the Robomen.
Yeah, but there's more than one Black Supreme Dalek.
No, just one.
Oh, really?
You can only have one Supreme Leader.
I don't know.
What are you talking about? You know?
I thought there was
Okay.
one in London and the one at the drill site.
I know, but the Supreme Dalek in different incarnations shows up throughout Doctor Who.
Whoa.
Yeah. And different weird Dalek forms show up throughout Doctor Who.
Huh.
And
Including
occasionally...
the flamethrowers and the tasers and
Yeah.
That's cool.
Okay. And it's, like I said, the Daleks, the Cybermen, certain enemies are always there.
That's what's really cool about the Daleks is because they're this life form, but because they rely on these robotic suits, is they can have different sort of augmentations and they sort of change over time.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of like, with the Star Wars, you have the clone troopers, but they, evolve into the stormtroopers and they have, different...
Star Wars.
It's kind of cool to see the troopers evolve into different suits.
I know, I just love Star Wars until Disney got hold of it.
Yeah,
and destroyed it.
it's over as far as I'm
it's done. I saw episode 7. I'm not seeing anything else.
Yeah, I didn't
there's
go
been
see the
3.
solo film. I just
3 movies since then. They've all done progressively worse.
all a bunch of reasons to give up on that entire series.
Yes. Alright, what's next?
Moving on, episode. Let's see. Oh, we're tied. So episode 3 also one of the companions and protagonists. We had Dartman, the scientific rebel. He sacrificed himself to try out his bomb, which
The guy in the wheelchair.
it never worked.
Well, no. Okay, first of all, I think that was in a later episode, like number 4.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're on episode 4.
Okay.
No, episode 3 is when he sacrificed himself.
Episode 3, wasn't that where they attempted the frontal assault on the spaceship? It wasn't episode 4 that he killed himself?
No, episode 2 was the Daleks and they did their invasion. Episode 3 was the Day of Reckoning, and that was when Dortmund sacrificed himself.
Okay. Dortmund was a scientist. He was in a wheelchair. He could walk a bit, maybe...
Well, he could stand at least.
He could stand and occasionally walk with canes.
Yeah, he had a cane.
Like multiple sclerosis or
Some
muscular
some sort of knee
dystrophy.
injury. His knees called
muscular. He had braces on his legs like Forrest Gump.
Mm-hmm.
Still hate that movie.
Run for Why do you hate that? Why?
Because it was an idiot going through all of time and supposedly everything in the world happened to him and he was at the center of everything and he recognized none of it. The odds of one individual being in all those points in time
That's why
are
it's
infinitesimal. It was stupid. Stupid. I hate that movie.
Commentary on history.
No.
And he gave Elvis his dance.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And he was the guy who called in the Watergate break-in, and he was there at the ping pong with the Chinese. And no. The odds of one individual being at like 20 different pivotal points in history.
So it's a commentary.
Are so
It's
infinitesimal.
a commentary on history, and it's ironic because he doesn't even recognize
Right. It's stupid.
It's a wonderful movie.
No, it's dumb. He's an idiot. He doesn't recognize any of it. And nobody's going to be through all that. Nobody's going to be through all that.
Well, the person that was through it can't even recognize it because he's, challenged. It's great.
Well, yeah, you should. Okay.
I love the movie. It's great.
Going back to the PC crap challenge. But no. Hate the movie. Can't stand it.
What was Forrest Gump?
Life is like a box of chocolates.
It is.
Neither one lasts as long for fat people.
You never know what you're gonna get.
No, neither one lasts as long for fat people.
That's true too.
And this is going on the internet, and you'll condemn me.
You're gonna get people mad.
Yeah, I don't care. Anyway, so hate Forrest Gump. Wait,
I love Forrest
where
Gump.
the hell were we?
We're talking about the Dortmund.
Okay, so Dortmund's this guy in a wheelchair, and he has like multiple sclerosis or muscular dystrophy
Or knee
whatever.
injuries from the
Right,
invasion.
but he has an idea to make a bomb that will
An acid bomb.
that will
Break
destroy the
armor
armor
of
of the Daleks, And he does a decent job of it eventually.
I mean, he sucks.
He gets a lot of people killed
He
first.
gets the Formula
Yeah, a
One.
lot of people killed.
He longs to meet the Doctor because he wants to explain his theorems
And he
to
never
a
does, yeah.
former fellow scienceman.
Right, scientist. Yeah, but eventually, at least he's willing to try the bomb on the Daleks himself rather than get other people killed. And that was noble. That was noble.
And he also died
And
for
he does.
nothing because it didn't do anything.
No, it did do something.
Well, the
Remember,
Daleks still came in and tried to capture
right, it
him.
was the same bomb that was able to acid the firebomb that was going to happen. So he figured out a way to do
kind of sort of
to impair Dalek-menium, as they called it, you know, which I don't think that word has ever come up again in Doctor Who.
He's trying to just destroy all of one,
Yeah.
and they said.
But anyway, so he was kind of an interesting character.
Yeah, it was.
Pretty cool. He dies in an attempt. But eventually his bomb does work after he gets a lot of people killed.
Well, like, it kind of works.
Now,
I mean, Larry uses it to melt the
Dalek
firebomb,
so
so
to
he
get dismantled that bomb. I was going to tell you about the firebombing.
Mhm.
They were going to firebomb. The Daleks were going to firebomb London, much akin to the same way I think that Dresden was firebombed in the Second World War.
Yeah, I really felt that the roots and it was really inspired by the Second World War. They had a lot
Do you know how Dresden was firebombed in the Second World War?
Yeah, and they had all these craters, and they had these signs put up like live bomb shell and this.
Wait.
Explain to our viewers.
Okay.
Okay. I dropped.
Okay. You know about the nuclear bombs.
Yes.
But do you know about
Big man,
firebombing?
little man, fat boy.
Yeah, but do you know about firebombing?
Mhm.
You do?
Yes.
Okay.
But explain to our viewers.
Okay. In the Second World War, the Allies developed a technique of firebombing. Where what they would do was, let's say, this is the city they want to firebomb. They would bomb around the city in such a way that it would create a vortex of heat and fire, so that it would create basically a twist or a tornado of heat and fire, and it would consume everything within it. You have to do this in a very incredibly deliberate and specific way. But they did this as a test in Dresden, Germany, during the war, which is weird. The Second World War, which is weird because Dresden was not a military target in any way, shape, or form. Dresden was famous for China, for pottery, for that kind of stuff.
And Doctor Who, they're also talking about the Daleks firebombing
London
surface.
that way.
Yeah, but they're also
London.
talking about bombing the surface locations because of the hideouts underneath and how it's
Right. Well, 100,000 people died in Dresden when they firebombed it, which is about as many as died in the nuclear bombs in Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
Yeah, it's super surreal to sort of have these influences from the Second World War influence cinematography from this.
Not really in England. I mean, everything's going to reference the Second World War in 1960.
It is culturally impactful.
Well, yeah. But Dresden was bombed like this, and 100,000 people died. And Kurt Vonnegut, the author, was a soldier, and he was in Dresden during that. And he was in a slaughterhouse basement during the bombing in Dresden, and Slaughterhouse Finn, which was the name of Slaughterhouse 5.
Did they go over that in Inglourious Bastards, or where that movie was? Monument Men, I mean.
I don't know. I haven't seen the Monument Men.
I just know there's
the
this
original
scene.
or the remake of Inglourious Bastards. I do not like Quentin Tarantino at all,
Oh.
so I haven't seen any of that.
You don't like Django Unchained?
Haven't. Quentin Tarantino directed it?
He is, but he didn't.
I
But
don't like
Django is,
Tarantino.
I feel like, a great movie.
I don't like Tarantino.
What about Pulp Fiction?
Hate Pulp Fiction.
I love the movie, but I hate how it's edited out of sequence. That's the only complaint. But other than that,
I hate. Okay,
it's great.
Tarantino.
Well, other than like the really awkward rape scenes,
Right.
but
Awkward rape scenes. Okay, listen to yourself. Alright, Tarantino wrote an incredible screenplay, and I think it was Francis Ford Coppola directed it, and it's called Natural Born Killers. Amazing movie, phenomenal movie, fantastic movie. The acting, the directing, the editing, everything about it is the absolute best. And it came out the same year as Pulp Fiction. And unfortunately, every stupid Hanyak focused on Pulp Fiction, and they ignored Natural Born Killers, which is the infinitely superior movie.
Should we add that to our watch list?
Natural Born Killers?
Natural Born Killers.
It might be a bit severe for you, but
No.
sure.
Severe for me? When you want to watch things like, what was that movie? A horror movie?
Heritage? No.
No.
Hereditary.
Hereditary. I feel like I'd rather watch Natural Born Killers than Hereditary.
Natural Born Killers is fairly explicit. It's great. It's amazingly great.
Like Private Ryan? Saving Private Ryan? Or?
Saving Private, well, it's about the same level of violence.
Not
Probably.
violence. It's just.
Well, yeah. At least Saving Private Ryan was historically accurate. There are a bunch of veterans who saw that and went, "That's about how it went down."
Yeah.
Natural Born Killers is about a couple of serial killers who go down Route 666 through.
66.
Yeah, it used to be. They renamed it recently, but it used to be a highway through Utah going into New Mexico. It was Route 666, and it's also where a bunch of American Indians would go and lay out on the road and wait to be killed.
Wow.
And they wanted to kill themselves.
Yeah.
And people would steal the signs because of 666. But anyway, great movie, fantastic movie, good message, so well done. But now the Pulp Fiction crap overshadowed it.
No, it's not crap. It's a good movie.
It was crap.
No.
Who cares about this? Who cares about, pithy dialogue? Give me a regular plot. Give me people talking normally. Give me something real rather than, gimmicky out of turn crap. Out of sequence.
Yeah.
I mean, Memento did that much better.
Memento. I haven't seen
Memento.
Memento.
Gosh. Okay. Oh, we're so off topic. I swear, this is Doctor Who. We're talking about Doctor Who.
We're talking about Doctor Who.
We're talking about life, I guess.
So we're talking about Gordon and the scientists. Going on to episode 4, we have the end of tomorrow. We already talked about the slithers. Let's talk about the vetoed signs everywhere. They had everywhere in the sets. We had all these signs saying vetoed, vetoed, vetoed. What does that mean?
I think that was vetoing the Daleks.
What is that?
I don't know. Okay, it's never.
So a
explained.
veto politically is just like the governor's power to pass on a bill. So
or president, yeah.
It's just like Daleks invading. Nah, no thanks. I'll pass.
I don't know. It was shown everywhere, but it's never explained.
There's even a big old sign on a bicycle, and I don't get it. It's just veto.
The bicycle.
Yeah, there's a bicycle, and even the bicycle had a sign saying vetoed.
Oh yeah,
and they had signs everywhere.
Yeah.
Vetoed, vetoed, vetoed. It's like, what does that mean? It's like you can't just say, nah, no thanks to the Dalek invasion. What kind of war message is that?
I don't know. Maybe the vetoed stuff comes from the plague. Or
Oh yeah,
it's
good.
I'm gonna use Russian.
Okay. So
tell our 14-man audience about the plague.
Yeah, it's great. So the way the Daleks invade a planet is they engineered this plague, and they sent down this artificial meteor storm on the planet Earth, and these meteors created this new plague. And the plague, it just killed people by the millions, and it fractured all of the continents and things like all of Asia and all of South America and all of Africa were just wiped out by these plagues, these huge plagues, and North America and Europe, they were working on all these really industrious nations were working on this cure, and eventually they developed a cure to this plague introduced by the Daleks in their meteor shower, but by then it was too late. It was too late for by the time they got the cure, by the time they engineered a cure for this plague that the Daleks introduced, the nations were already fractured into all these different colonies and you know, just huge death tolls. Speaking of death tolls, we're historically we're talking about huge death tolls in the episode The French Revolution. You know, we went over the guillotine and the whole revolution going on in France and how that, up to date, had the biggest death count in all of Doctor Who episodes, ironically, even though it's a children's show. You know, way back in 1964, huge death counts is really gory. Well, not so much gory, but just really dark and sort of demented in nature and storytelling. You know, lots of people died. Here we have our first taste of sci-fi, you know, gore and, you know, huge death counts because of this alien invasion. You know, big old plague. They eventually engineered a cure for this plague, but by then it was too late because they were already, you know, segmented, fractured into different colonies. All of these nations broke apart because of this, you know, the new plague. And that is what weakened Earth enough for the Daleks to invade. Because I think previously we mentioned how the Daleks are low in numbers, so they used this plague introduced by the meteorites to weaken the planet before they invaded. And the way they invaded, they sent down these saucers, and they really just blast these planets, you know, firebombed it, destroyed all these different cities, and then they entered. They invaded this planet, and
Earth.
Yeah, they invaded Earth because they were weaker in numbers. So I was telling our audience about the plague they introduced with the meteorite shower, how that, you know, wiped out different continents, and they eventually engineered a cure for it. By then it was too late. The nations were already segmented into different colonies, and that's what weakened Earth enough and their defense forces enough for the Daleks to invade, because they're, you know, weaker in numbers, but they invaded because Earth was so fractured and isolated into these different colonies. And they, you know, they firebombed different towns and stuff, and they invaded London, and they took a whole bunch of prisoners when they invaded, and they engineered the Robo-Man, which we were talking about earlier.
Right.
So now we're talking about...
What are we on now?
Now we're on episode 4. We're talking about the slithers, but we're talking about the vetoed signs and how, you know, the veto signs, it never really explains what those meant, but we're talking about maybe, you know, as inspired by the plague.
Right, I was saying it's never explained. I don't know. You know,
yeah, so I was kind of speculating with our audience about the plague and the vetoed signs.
Right.
Moving on to episode 5, we had the Waking Ally.
Ally.
Look at my handwriting when I'm drunk. What does that say?
It's chicken scratch. At least it's cursive. But no, it's ally.
There's some cursive with print.
You're right. Oh.
Yeah, I'm just...
Okay, the texting generation. Okay, ally. Waking Ally.
There's some good.
Okay.
The Waking Ally, episode 5, we have... let me see if I can read my notes. We have this great line by the Doctor, you know, we have this confrontation with the Doctor and I think Ian and a couple of their new companions. The Resistance, they encounter these Robomen, and, you know, with a ladder, and the one guy tries to shoot him, but his gun jams, and the next guy comes in, they have this big tussle.
In the sewers.
In the sewers. They end up shooting one of the Robomen on the ladder. The other guy, you know, is grappling with one of the Resistance fighters, and the Doctor comes in and he whacks him with his cane. Mm-hmm. And the one guy with the gun that didn't jam, he's about to shoot the Roboman, and the Doctor lays this great line on him. He's like, no, don't shoot him. I never take life only when my own is immediately at risk.
Right, immediately.
So that really lays out the Doctor's, you know... Ideology, yeah. Mm-hmm. He's kind of like Batman. He's like, you know, don't take life. Well, Batman, you know, well, that's different. But, you know, the Doctor treasures life, and that really... It lays out his ideology of why he helps these different people with their... You know, he helps a lot of people with their revolutions and
the Doctor loves life, especially the fifth life. All the Doctors, especially the fourth and fifth Doctor.
Especially fourth and fifth. They're
right. Fifth Doctor, fourth Doctor Tom Baker, fifth Doctor Davison, the one with the celery. on his outfit there.
Celery.
Celery, look right there. Okay,
Where?
you may not be able to see it, so maybe off camera. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the blonde
yeah.
guy with the celery on his outfit.
Even
Okay, he was a thinking man's doctor. He thought his way out of problems.
That's awesome.
And you're right. And he
MacGyver.
kind of, yes. Wait, was he performing? He was more or less concurrent with MacGyver.
Okay.
Because MacGyver was
So maybe that influenced
mid
the show, right?
80s and he was mid 80s. But yeah, he was a thinking man's doctor. And he liked to be not the physical knight, but the thinking man to help everyone out of problems.
I like to think of the first Doctor that way too, because we've never seen him show violence until the French Revolution, where he knocks out the slave driver. And,
Right. And
but before then, he's always thinking his way out of problems.
Right, but the doctor's not above being violent when it's called for.
Yeah, but
the third doctor, again, the gentleman's doctor, Pertwee. No, next one. Okay, no, there, Pertwee is famous. Okay, he knows Venusian Kung Fu, right?
Oh, that's awesome.
And he kicks ass. He's awesome. He's amazing. He's even got a tattoo, and it shows in his first serial. Oh, he's
really cool.
The gentleman's doctor. And he does not mind using, third doctor.
Third Doctor.
Does not mind using violence when necessary. He was there for 5 seasons in the early 70s.
So, how many seasons?
Just over 3.
Over 3.
Right. He was there for 3 seasons and 2 extra serials. The second Doctor was there for almost 3 seasons, like 2 serials shy because of the first Doctor.
Every once in a while on our anniversaries, we have all the Doctors unite. Does he ever make one of those? All the United Doctors?
The first Doctor?
Yeah.
Yes, he's there.
He's there for the first reunion.
For the first reunion, the 10th anniversary serial, The 3 Doctors.
That's awesome.
After that, both in the 20th anniversary, the 5 Doctors, and in more recent serials like Twice Upon a Time, it's the same Doctor played by different actors. Because the actor died not that long after
Is
the
that
10th
weird?
anniversary.
Because,
It's the only Doctor that's been played by different actors.
Played by different actors. Is that weird? Is it like a weird departure of,
Well, yes
the
and no, but
characteristics?
only him. He's the only one that's been done.
Does it even look like him when other
Yes,
actors play?
they look very
do
much like him.
Oh, that's really cool. Because I was listening to this different podcast and arguments about how, after a person passes away, is it weird to use that person's
likeness?
Likeness, yeah. Because even nowadays they have they use Elvis Presley to endorse Pepsi ads and stuff. Yeah, digital recreation. And these Star Wars films, the Rebels, they use General or Admiral, I forget his name.
I don't know. I haven't seen the new crap.
Yeah, but the guy that played him, he passed away, and they digitally reconstruct his likeness.
You're talking about
Admiral.
No.
No, General Toffman.
No, he has a Doctor Who connection.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. Okay.
They're in the very first 3.
We talked about this in the last episode.
Movies.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, no. Yeah, we did. Doctor Who and the Daleks and the Invasion of Earth. Grab those.
All 3 of them?
Yeah. Okay. This is okay, these are the movies that were put in the theater. Alright. Okay. Oops. Hold on. Alright. Doctor of the Daleks and the Dalek Invasion of Earth were movies put in the theater. And Peter Cushing was in the Star Wars movies.
Yeah, he was the bad guy general dude.
Right. And he played because most of the bad guys in the original Star Wars movies were English.
Yeah.
Don't know why,
Dude, all of that's a running theme with all of the clone troopers. They're voiced by English voice actors, and even the video games, they're very English accented in the clone troopers.
But Peter Cushing plays Doctor Who. a doctor named Doctor Who, not the Doctor, not a Time Lord.
That's weird.
He's human.
Huh.
Right. And they redid these for the movies with him as being that. So Doctor and the Daleks is basically what we'll be watching next week along with The Rescue, okay, which is a movie remake, the first time the Daleks are in color, a movie remake of The Daleks, the second Doctor Who serial.
Yeah.
And the Doctor Who Invasion Earth 2150 AD, also with Peter Cushing, is a remake of Dalek's Invasion of Earth that we watched tonight.
Yes.
Except for the big screen.
Yeah.
And we'll be watching that later on as well.
So Peter Cushing, who also played the Star Wars role, this character in Star Wars,
Right.
I mean, he's a much older gentleman. He passed away.
Yes.
They made Rogue One, which is a prequel. They digitally reconstructed his appearance and they used his likeness in these remixes, which is kind of weird.
But okay, that's upside down.
Oh.
This is weird. Yeah, but the first Doctor's been played in the 10th anniversary by himself.
But they look very similar.
Right, in the 20th anniversary by another gentleman, and then in the more recent episode, Twice Upon a Time, by, have you seen Harry Potter?
Yes, every one of them.
You know Filch?
Yes.
Right. Filch plays the first Doctor. He plays, well, more specifically, he plays that actor as the first Doctor in the biopic, which we talked about in the last episode. The biopic, oh my god, what was the name of it? Yeah, bloody well can't remember the name of it. But he played but he plays that actor. He plays the actor. And he also plays that Doctor in Twice Upon a Time, which is the final episode for Capaldi, the 12th Doctor. So he looks like him, and he's playing him.
That's great. Really cool.
Yeah.
How they have these connections with the different.
Yeah, he's the first Doctor's the only Doctor who's been played by other actors as that actor as the Doctor.
Do you think they're gonna keep it that way and also have different actors similarly in appearance play previous Doctors that passed away, or are they gonna go with that digital, reconstruction of their appearance and using their likeness? Because I never really like that, really CGI'd faces, because they always fall into that uncanny valley and they're kind of weird looking.
I don't know.
Just slightly
it's technology.
off.
I mean, they've only done it with the first Doctor. They've only done it on a couple occasions. They've never done it with any of the other Doctors. Partly because the other Doctors lived longer. Like the second Doctor, Troughton, my second favorite Doctor, he shows up in an episode, in a serial, The Flute. The guy playing, right there, yes, the recorder, the guy playing the recorder. Second Doctor. Alright, he shows up in The Two Doctors, which is a serial with the sixth Doctor, the one up in the far left. Him. You probably can't see it on camera. But anyway, they have a serial called The Two Doctors where they both show up. Long down the line. It takes place in Seville. It's really cool. Seville, Spain, yeah. And I've been to the same streets where they've been there, and it's amazing.
That's awesome.
It is. But anyway, so none of the other Doctors have been recast to play that actor, play that Doctor, except the first. And I don't know if they're going to use some sort of CGI in the future. They did a shot of all the Doctors together in the 50th anniversary episode, but most of them were cardboard cutouts of the Doctors and representations, images. Except the current ones and the future one, which was Capaldi at the time, who's not on that chart.
11th.
12th. Right. Alright, what other questions do you have?
So that finishes
My
up
couch
our,
alone.
It's just
No. Anyway.
so that finishes up episode 5 for us. Also, this the rebel symbol. Much like the vetoed sign, we also have these rebel symbols showing up. Some of the rebels have it scrawled across their chests, and even the Robomen, even though they've been mind controlled,
Right,
they have
there's
rebel symbols across their chest and their clothing. Also, we had signs and different plaques with the rebel symbols, it wasn't any sort of English language. It sort of looked like a new made-up code, because they did reference the code in episode 2, episode 3, when they left Barbara and Susan, or
Correct.
Barbara.
Think the and for the viewers, if you haven't seen it, think the language in
It sort of
District 9. It looks something like that.
It sort of looks like a Jewish lettering, sort of what they used in Star Wars.
Have you seen
episode
District
1.
9?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, it looked kind of that level.
Yeah. Big blocky shapes and letters.
Kind of, yeah.
So, they have that reassuring. Also never really explains that, but we assume it's a rebel symbol because they follow those signs to their cave, their cove, their second meeting place, the museum.
Yeah. To be fair, there's a lot going on in these 6 episodes.
There's a whole bunch.
They separate all 4 of them. The Doctor and each of the companions are all separate at different points.
Separated.
At one point, they're all doing different story arcs. They're all doing different adventures, and there's just a lot going on. And 6 episodes is just a small amount of time to contain all of that, especially when Susan's falling in love.
Yeah, I think it was really well done.
It was. Although she seems so young, so ingenuistic. Yeah, but she might be 17. The guy
she was just kind of.
The guy she fell in love with might be 20.
Yeah, he was. He's
maybe. Well, okay, he might be also battle hardened from the war.
Yeah. Also, I mean, it's not really such a big deal anymore once most of the population is wiped out.
True. Take who you
numbers.
Exactly. Yeah, it's just one of those things,
Yeah, they fell in love. Bringing us to episode 6, Flashpoint. We talked earlier about the Daleks and their suits, their myopic vision, and how that really leads in myopic vision, and that really leads into the stage performance where they hide off screen, and the Daleks sort of move past them because they don't have that peripheral vision.
Right.
That's really cool. And then the episode 6. The penultimate episode, resolving this entire conflict. They finally get back to the TARDIS, and we have this sort of this emotional battle between Larry and Susan, as Larry's saying, "I love you, marry me, stay with me," because Susan is like, "I've never had a feeling of belonging. I've never had my own place," and there's like, "Well, make this your place. Stay with me." And she's like, "I can't. I need my grandfather because he's old."
Needs me, yeah.
And the grandfather knows that Susan can't leave him, so he leaves her. So he locks her out of the TARDIS. He gives his ending speech. He's like, "Continue on your beliefs, so I can be." Oh, don't do that. Oh, you're gonna make me cry.
It is what it is, okay?
So
it's our first loss of
the first loss of
Susan leaves.
It's really emotionally heavy.
She's replaced in the next serial by Vicky.
Vicky.
Vicky, who's a
spoiler.
I'll see her next week. Who's a Susan replacement, the young girl replacement, and then she does all the young girl stuff. Yeah,
she's the new damsel in distress.
Kind of, yeah. The new damsels is the word.
Companion to the Doctor. Doctor's companion?
Yes, Doctor's
So Susan, we finish up her storyline. She finally finds a time to belong in, a place to make her own.
Mm-hmm.
She finds a Larry, who she loves.
Yeah.
And,
guy,
she's supposedly, it's teased that maybe she's a Time Lord herself. It never really...
No, it's not teased. It's heavily
implied. Yeah.
Right.
It never really says, but she has Time Lord powers, teased that.
Well, that's almost explicitly stated in the censor rights.
The censor rights, the mind powers.
Yeah, the default is that she is the Doctor's actual granddaughter, and she is the Doctor's Time Lord. herself, and she has those powers as a result. So she could theoretically come back into the show. Probably a different actress playing her.
Yeah,
Although-
she's
Although I think the actress who played Susan is
Regenerated.
still alive.
That's
But
cool.
most
That'd be
likely
really cool. She
regenerated.
came back as her own. As the
Right,
same
and
actress.
in Adventures in Time and Space, that's it. Adventures in Time and Space is the biopic on the first Doctor. The actress who played Susan has a cameo
That's awesome.
in it. It is awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it says that the doctor, the first doctor at the time, he says, "I'll come back and visit you. I'll come back." And he hasn't yet. For 13 doctors, he hasn't yet. But
Well, 12 doctors.
Going into our 13th doctor, he hasn't.
Yeah, Whitaker has not had an episode yet, I don't think.
Our first female doctor. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Are you excited?
Huh? I never wanted the Doctor to be female. I want the Doctor to be...
But
I want the
heard-
Doctor to continue to be the white knight male who saves people using logic and thought, not force. But in this modern age, we're denied that.
Yeah.
And it sucks.
People are clamoring for a strong, independent female character who can be that white knight and use logic
Right,
and
but
thought.
there were several spin-off possibilities. Romana is a Time Lord.
Yeah, and they teased about the Doctor regenerating as a female before, right?
Okay,
It was the-
not until the last 10 years.
Yeah, they
No, but the first 50 years of the show was never even thought a possibility.
Yeah.
All the regenerations are male, but
It's really tacked on the end kind of thing.
yeah, during Moffat's
To
era,
set up
during
the third.
this decade.
Yeah, to set up the...
But there are several good spin-offs that could have included a female Time Lord, including Romana during the Fourth Doctor. Great female Time
Or
Lord.
even Susan herself. That seems like a missed
Right,
opportunity.
or Susan.
Yeah.
Or the Doctor's daughter, which happens during the 10th Doctor, Tennant's
I didn't
time.
know about that.
Yeah.
Granddaughter. She apparently has a daughter too.
No, he has a daughter. Okay, the actress who played the Doctor's daughter in the episode The Doctor's Daughter, okay, she was the daughter of the 5th Doctor.
What?
In real life.
Oh, so that's cool.
In
So
real life,
this
she
is
was
the
the
same-
she was the daughter of the 5th Doctor,
of
Davison.
the actor, the daughter of the actor of the 5th Doctor.
Right, but not only that, but she married David Tennant.
Ah.
So the 10th Doctor
Always.
married the real life daughter of the 5th Doctor,
That's so
and
confusing.
she played the 10th Doctor's daughter in the episode The Doctor's
We
Daughter.
might have to go back to a... I can't keep up with you.
No, that was amazing. I love that. But wow. Okay.
All right.
Anyway, but are there any more questions?
All right, so we've gone over the entire serial of the Daleks Invasion of Earth. That was episode 6. We talked about the departure of Susan, which was really the end all.
Beautiful.
The end all of the season. Our next episode, or our next serial, is the Powerful Enemy.
No.
That's,
Powerful Enemy is the episode name.
Yeah, the episode name going into the serial of. The next episode is Powerful Enemy, which is
The
serial-
Rescue.
The Rescue.
Rescue.
Yeah. So that's all my notes. We covered
That's
every
where we
question.
get Vicky, and it's only a
The new
two-part.
companion, two-parter, new companion.
We'll watch the 2 parts, and then we'll watch Doctor Who and the Daleks. Right, the first, yes, Doctor Who, the Daleks. The Peter Cushing movie, put on the big screen, back in the 60s, the Doctor Who.
So we'll watch a 2-parter episode, The Rescue, the Powerful
Yeah, and then
Enemy,
we'll watch the,
introduce Vicky as the new companion. We'll watch the movie.
yeah.
That'll be next week.
Yes,
Potentially.
next week. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it, and I think we're out.
We're out.
We're out.
In more ways than
Yes.
one.
Ooh, okay, where's the button?
I'll be right back.
Okay, good. Button.